All right, we're going to make a promise right here and now, Mad Dog. Before we have Ashley on again, we will have a softball specific bumper for this nationally ranked program. It's kind of crazy we don't have one right now. Sorry, Ashley, but we are glad to see you. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
We're good. Good. Everything's good. Not as good as you. I mean, man, y'all are the talk of the town right now.
Yeah, thanks. We obviously had a great weekend in Baton Rouge. It was a lot of fun and definitely came back on a high and obviously have a big week here at home. But just really appreciate you guys having me on. And, we are very much in the middle grind of season. We're far away from the start, the honeymoon feel of the start, and still a distance away from postseason. So we're just, trying to stay day to day around here with Gamecock softball.
Yeah, it's hard to do that when you're getting the attention you're getting, isn't it? Is that has that been a challenge at all for you, or your kids? They just kind of going with the flow.
Yeah, we're just really grateful, obviously, to be in the position that we're in right now, and still a lot of work left to do. So trying to keep their feet grounded for sure. I mean, they have social media just like we have, so it's hard for me to, keep a lot of things from them. They're probably on it way more than I am, but. For us, it's business as usual. We've got Wofford today, and then obviously another tough SEC weekend here at home this weekend. So, just trying to keep their feet on the ground and stay day to day, week to week, and just keep, focusing on one opponent at a time. But we're really excited about where we're at.
That next opponent is tonight. Wofford will be in town, and then this weekend you got 20th ranked Ole Miss making the trek to Beckham Field. There better not be a seat open in the house over these next 5 games. CSU next week, and then you'll hit the road for Arkansas. But I know y'all are happy to be home. So what is the name of the dance that you're doing after the games in the locker room? Have you named this?
We tried out a various different types of dances. This was definitely getting me out of my comfort zone, and it kind of just started right at the beginning of the season. I do not know why I did it, but supposedly I did the gritty right after we won, like the first game, which your kids probably know exactly what that is. I really did not know what it was until I actually did it. And then that stuck for a while. And we're kind of superstitious, or I like to call myself more routine than superstitious. But, then we won, their 20 straight games. And so I had to keep dancing. So we had to, get creative and try different things. So I've learned a lot of different dances in the past couple months.
You're not bad at. Who's the best dancer on the team?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. I don't know. I probably would say I think Quincy Lelio is really good. She's got some moves. I think Ari Rhodey has some moves. They're all way better than I am. They all have way more rhythm than I do. So,
You know what? Whatever works, and that's working. Obviously, I mean that's this has been an incredible run, and you're right in the middle of it. Let's go back to Baton Rouge. Okay, we had what we're going to call Sam Gress Sunday around here. She throws 8 innings and a complete game in that first victory, 5-3, I think, in that game.
Mhm.
And then she comes in and she shuts them down in game 2. We haven't talked a lot about her with you specifically on our program, but for anybody who maybe has kind of been fringe following and maybe they've only heard about Jory or Rhodey or some of the superstars whose names have been floating around. Sam Gress has been around a while. She's thrown over 500 innings in her career, and obviously she came with you from Charlotte. Prior to that, she was in Raleigh at NC State. So I think it's safe to say, right, there's not a lot that really phases her when she's on the mound.
Yeah, Sam has been such a joy to work with over the past couple years for me, and we have obviously a lot of experience together at this point. So I feel like I know her like the back of my hand at this point. And she, started the year off really well for us, and I think for a couple weeks, felt like she didn't quite have the command that she needed. And the thing about Sam is that she's such a worker. Like she really kind of dove into her craft, and we've tweaked a few mechanics. She really worked hard on her mentality, and I think since the Georgia series. So the Georgia series, the Texas Tech series, and then in Baton Rouge this weekend, I think you've seen, just kind of an upward trend of, her usage and her performance. And, she's kind of been our go-to the past couple weeks in high leverage moments. And she's the ultimate competitor. She's an excellent competitor thinker. And, she just hates to lose. She loves to win. She's got all the intangibles as a player that you really like to coach. And she's got really unique ball flight. She's a hard thrower. She's kind of the whole package. Internally, she's our head captain. So she's very influential in the locker room. She has a really significant pulse on the team at all times. So she's definitely a strong voice internally for us. And, not only leads by example, but, she just kind of has the environment all the time. She's really taken on the responsibility of our head captain. So I couldn't be happier for her. The past couple of weeks. She's performed really well and worked really hard for it. And, she's just a winner. She knows how to win. She knows how to get the job done. And we knew that we were probably going to stretch her out a little bit on Sunday. We did not play well Friday night. Everyone knows that follows us and watched us play. We really did not play well Friday. And I don't think we really had the game from the very first pitch. There was a couple delays to start the game. The weather there was not great this weekend. And, I didn't feel like we started the game off very well. And from the first couple pitches, it didn't feel like we had any control or momentum. And so, we got beat bad on Friday night, the first time we'd gotten beat like that really all year. And so as a coach, you just, you challenge them to respond and you try to guide their mentality and inspire them to come back and, just really get back after it. And then Saturday, I think they woke up really ready to play. We participated in an ovarian cancer awareness walk in Baton Rouge with LSU. And, there was a wonderful campaign across the conference for ovarian cancer on Saturday. We were wearing teal and it was wonderful. And, the weather got really bad again on Saturday night. I think LSU Mississippi State baseball started their game at 9:30 in Baton Rouge on Saturday night and got done playing at like 2 a.m. They could not push into Sunday and we could. So we made the decision to play a doubleheader on Sunday, knowing that we really needed Sam to throw the bulk of at least one of those games. I think she threw a total of 42 pitches, which is the most she's thrown at one time all year. And she really just gutted it out. We needed her to have a big time performance and she really did a good job. And then I thought Jory also did a really good job with the open and took us 6 innings on game 2 before we re-entered Sam to close it. Jory was fresh. She looked really good. So really exciting day for us. It's the first time that we've won the series in Baton Rouge since 1997, which was obviously a historic team for our program. So we left Baton Rouge in great spirits. And we actually FaceTimed Coach Beamer on the bus as soon as we got back on the bus. I'm sure people saw that, but the girls were like, let's FaceTime Coach Beamer. And I'm like, I don't know if he's going to answer, but we can try.
We did.
Yes. Very thankful for him answering my FaceTime call at that moment.
Dude, he's the best. I mean, he really is. Like, he's so invested in this university. And you've got quite the ambassador. Now he's kind of second tier around here now. Everybody wants to see more of you and less of him. But don't tell him I said that.
No, well, he's just as soon as the game was over, like 2 or 3 minutes after the game was over, I got a text on my watch from him like right away, and it's just so impressive, that he is just following that closely and just really appreciate his investment and interest in what we're doing.
It's authentic. There's no question about it. Hey, real quick, you mentioned Gress being you said she's the head captain, head captain. How many captains do you have and how is that decided? Because this is her first year in the program. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, we have 3 captains. So we have Sam Gress, Ella Chansey, and Brooke Blankenship. And it's team, I wouldn't say voted because, we don't necessarily, it's not a vote, but it's more of a nomination process. So we don't decide on our captains until later in the fall. I think this group was in November that we established this group. And, every team is very different. Every year is very different. And obviously this year coming in, we had a lot of new players and a lot of new people to kind of blend together and, create a team, basically is what we were doing through the fall. So we waited until November. Everyone in the program, top to bottom, so players on the roster, managers, support staff, like everyone that's involved with our daily operation gets a nomination of someone that they would like to nominate to be a captain. And then they go through an interview process where they come in the office and they sit down at our conference table and we kind of interview them for the job. And everyone on staff asks a lot of questions about how they'll handle adversity or, their leadership styles and just, kind of interviewing them for the job. And I think we had 7 or 8 nominations total on the team. And then we decided we wanted 3 people to represent, our leadership on this team specifically. And then Brooke, Sam, and Ella won the job, and then just for kind of hierarchy purposes, the ultimate responsibility of the leadership on the team falls on Sam because she got the head captain job. Just like the responsibility of the program ultimately falls on me, even though we have an associate coach and a wonderful staff underneath. So that's kind of the thought process behind it. And those guys have just been our heartbeat all year. They've done a wonderful job at leading us in the right direction. And to my core, like player-led teams are usually more successful, in my opinion. So I think you're seeing it from those 3, and our team just really gets behind their leadership.
100%. If you're having to tell them what to do all year, it's probably a long year, as you well know, right? Okay, so you mentioned the fall. I didn't have any of this planned today, but I'm just so curious now because. All right. So a few years ago, Ashley, I was talking to Dawn and she mentioned that, I mentioned to her, I was sitting out on the pier at Folly Beach one day at the bar, naturally. And, I turned around and saw this very tall group of ladies walking by me. And I thought, well, that's got to be somebody. And then, of course, the closer that they got, it was South Carolina's women's basketball program. And so I asked Dawn about that. I said, hey, I noticed the team. I didn't see you at the Folly Beach Pier. What was going on? She said, I'm glad you asked me that question. We send them on a retreat before every season, take away their phones, take away their computers, take away all the junk that occupies your time. And we make them communicate. They get some money. I guess I can say that. I don't think that's breaking any rules anymore, but they get team money or whatever. They have to go to the grocery store, decide collectively what they're going to buy, and then come home and cook it as a team. And then it's a communication deal to make their team kind of come together, if you will. What did you do? Like, what was your process when you got here? I don't know if I've asked you this or not. If I have, I apologize. But what was your process to get this group of transfers and this group of returners, and then the freshmen, the young ladies who are coming in, their first time in collegiate softball, to get them to culminate into what you've got now?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's all built on trust. And trust is earned. You don't meet someone for the first time and automatically trust them, or at least I don't think that's very natural. So we did go on a retreat this fall. We played at College of Charleston, and we took everyone down to Isle of Palms, and we rented a massive beach house that, it slept like 30 something people, those just immaculate homes there in Isle of Palms. So we had a good time. We did that. We spent some time together away from campus. And, for us, that fellowship time and just time away from the field is really key, I think, to building trust and connection and just different conversation. We practice a lot, we train a lot, and it just has to go beyond the field because, when you're in training mode and practice mode, I think there's a lot of respect and trust earned in that setting as well. But, you kind of have to take a step back from that and really find time to capture that's not on the field. So we had a lot of dinners. I mean, the team has been over to my house, here in Shandon several times throughout the fall and the spring, just kind of sharing meals together and, just no agenda really of anything to do, but just spending time together. And, I got married in the fall and they all were invited to my wedding, which most of them were able to come, so we shared that experience together. Our associate head coach, Katie Browder, had her first baby in December. Gamecock softball is traveling with our first baby. This spring, baby Arden's been on both of our charter flights so far, and she's done wonderful. But I say that to say, we hosted several baby showers that, the team put on a baby shower for Katie, here at my house in the fall. And so you kind of have to do life with them. It's like you just have to be able to be a normal, real person. They have to know things about you outside of just your coach, and, have to get out of coach mode. And we were really intentional about that through the fall, of just making sure that we spent time doing other things besides training and practice, to really help build the foundation of what our program was going to feel like moving forward. And we'll have to do the same thing with next year's team. We're losing a lot of experience and a lot of people this year. And so we're going to have to go, heavy in the portal through the summer. And then we've got a freshman class coming in. So, we'll have to do it again. And that's honestly some of my favorite, aspects of being the head coach here. Just, being able to, step away from the field and really get to know the team outside of that setting. I think those are the moments and things that they remember, decades from now. So, it's just intentionality behind it all. But it's definitely time spent. You have to spend a lot of time with them.
Well, it's pretty crazy. First of all, I'm putting on things to do. Invest in Beach House on Isle of Palms.
Yeah.
The school's paying for this, right? So, all right,
Yes.
let me. Just kidding, everybody. But I think too, Ashley. Never. I didn't coach college athletics, but coaching the group right before college. It's really hard, and I know that you understand this. I'm asking you the question. I'm not saying anything about me. It's really hard to sometimes, and we see it a lot, to distinguish where the line is. Like all the things that you're talking about, this is the new age. This wouldn't have happened. I don't think this would have happened when you played. I sure as hell know it wasn't going to happen when Coach Tanner wasn't going to a retreat with his baseball program. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that wasn't going to happen. So it's a new deal. But also back then you recruited and you developed and you had the same group for 2, 3, 4 years at the same time. So you don't have that opportunity anymore. You got to go to the portal, as you mentioned. So I would imagine that it can be difficult for you and your staff at times or to draw the line in the sand of, I am still your coach.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're out here on the field, I'm still going to be in your rear end when there's things that aren't going the way that they need to go, respectfully, of course. But then also at the same time, Ashley, like as much you're talking about how much they get to learn about you and your staff and your husband and the babies and all this stuff. You get to learn a lot about them, right? And how they interact with one another. I'm sure that helps you so much when you get to February and y'all start playing ball.
It does, it does. And you're right. Like, I mean, accountability has to be had at times, and, you have to push them and you have to hold them to a certain standard, and you really want to develop that they hold each other to that standard, and then it becomes, your leadership and your captains holding people to the standard. But it starts with our staff. It starts with me, and, there's definitely a line drawn and you have to find it. But we have just found over the course of, the staff that I've been with, we've had some continuity, and we've just found over time that, when you kind of get away from just softball all the time, and you can really earn some respect and build some respect that is needed in the tough moments. If I have no connection or relationship and I don't communicate with, let's just say, a younger player in our program, and then at practice, she's, maybe she has bad body language, or she's, kind of not given full effort on something, or, maybe she's distracted, whatever it might be, because those things happen all the time, with us. And, they're not a big deal because, accountability is had, whether it by me, the staff, or our captains, or someone else on the team. The respect is there, the trust is there. So they know it's coming from a good place. We kind of talk about a lot how when someone chooses to hold you accountable, it's really a sign that they truly love you. Like, they don't want you to go down the wrong path or choose the wrong thing or make the wrong decision. So it's really kind of an act of love for someone to kind of look at you and say, hey, you need to get it together. This is not the standard. I'm not going to allow you to make that decision for yourself or the team. So it's about perspective, and, those things are really built sometimes when you're not at practice or you're not playing softball, is kind of like to my core of what I believe. So, Yeah, you have to draw the line, obviously, and have to find that line for yourself and what works for you and your staff and your team, because every sport's different, every staff is different, every team is different. But you have to find what works for you. And I think that's what the fall's for, so that way all of these things show up for you in the spring. And I think we have I think we're doing a good job with that stuff. I think we have a lot of respect internally and a lot of accountability. And, so when we don't play well, I think it really shows up in the locker room, like the accountability and just the want and the drive to get back out there and do a better job, and I think you saw that even in Baton Rouge this weekend from Friday to Sunday, which was awesome that stuff, really shows up for you when you need it.
Yeah, well, case in point is what happened in Game 3 on Sunday, and that's kind of where I was weaving to with this is, you're in a tight ball game, you're on their home field. LSU is incredibly good, a national championship contender. As you pointed out, you hadn't won a series down there. The Gamecocks haven't in 28 years. 28 years. Hey, Maya, I need you to pinch hit and hit a ball out of the yard here. And, I know you didn't probably say it like that, but I mean, she's had 11 at bats all season long, and I won't necessarily get into where she's played and why she, whatever. But you trusted her in that moment to go in there and put a big swing on it, and that was the gut punch to the Tigers.
Yeah, it was a big moment for Maya. Really happy for her, and just to even see the team celebrate that moment with her was really cool for me. But Maya's a freshman. She walked in August, as all of the freshmen do, just trying to figure this out away from home. She's from California. She's from the opposite coast. And, how do I stand on my own and how do I make good decisions? And, what is it like being a part of a team at this caliber? And so just to kind of see her have success in that moment, I think is a accumulation of so much growth and so much work put in for months and months and months and months. And, she could have so easily given up along the way and, chosen to not keep working, because those are the hard choices. And we talked about this yesterday at practice, actually, of like, hey, no matter how much playing time you're getting, no matter what your role is right now, no matter how many at bats or innings pitched you're getting, keep working hard, like keep choosing the work, because you never know, when your name's going to be called and your team needs you to come through. So we just felt like Maya has God-given power. I mean, if you come to practice and you watch her take BP on our field, she does that like the moment when she hit the ball at LSU, she does that for us all the time. We just really hadn't seen it translate live yet, and we knew it was coming. It takes, it's a process to learn how to hit really good pitching at this level. And so we felt recently that she was getting better. We were seeing really great things from her at practice. She has God-given power she can change the game at any point for us. And I think most impressive, she's really learned how to adjust and have like adjustability in her at bats, because when she came in as a freshman, like she had no defense against off speed. It was like just automatic swing, no matter what speed was coming. And so we knew we had to help her develop out of that to be able to hit at this level. And, she's put in the work to do that. Katie has trained her and developed a relationship with her. And so now she can have a competitive at bat against anybody that we face, because, she is able to defend the changeup and, really hunt for a specific pitch and be on time. And we were, I think, in Brooke Blankenship's spot, who we have a lot of trust in Brooke. She could have easily had the at bat, but we really felt like it was Maya's moment, and we gave her the bat. And, it was a lot of insurance that we needed in that moment. It was just, that stamp of insurance to get the win, I think, is how everyone felt.
Was she already signed, or did you sign her?
No, she was already signed. Yeah.
And you honored all of them, right? So
yeah, we honored all the freshmen that were coming in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's just another piece to that puzzle right there. She didn't sign to play with you. She signed with Bev, and now you're her coach. She stuck with it, and she's being rewarded. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of it. We could probably do this for another couple of hours, but all right. So, here we'll get you out of here on this note. I mentioned it's a 5-game homestand, starts tonight. Wofford, 6:00 first pitch. And then you got the Rebels of Ole Miss coming to town. Charleston Southern will make the trek up the road. And then you got 4 games away from home. You got to go to Arkansas, and then you return one to that team in the upstate. So as you pointed out, you are just flat out in the thick of it now. You prepared them with the non-conference stuff. You even mixed in Texas Tech, and you took care of business there. Although I know you really wanted the sweep, but you still got the series. I get it. I don't actually. You couldn't be more prepared for what's to come now. I mean, not all these teams you're going to play are good and talented and the whole 9 yards, but y'all are too. And now you've seen it. You've been in the environments. You've beaten all the good teams. Your resume is as good as anybody's in college softball. This is incredible how y'all are just handling this moment like you expected to be here, and this is just the way it's going to be at South Carolina. This is awesome. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. I just, I want the team to stay humble and just, always win and lose with class and grace. And I think they're just handling themselves like such pros, and I'm really proud of them. It's an exciting week for us. We have actually Bark at the Park tonight, and we have, I think, over 45 dogs registered to come to the game, which is super cool. And then this weekend is our alumni weekend, and I have just been so overwhelmed by the response. We have over 75 confirmed alumni coming this weekend. And so it's overwhelming for me just to feel the support and all the love and the backing that everyone is pouring into our program. And it makes such a difference for us. It really does, to have so many messages and, support on social and just so much interest. And, we feel that, it's the grind of the game, the moments that, are super tough, that when you feel everyone's love and support, it just kind of like pushes and propels you forward. And, for that, we're so grateful, and still a lot of work to do. And I think our best days are still in front of us, and we're really excited here to get in the back half of season.
Yeah, Ole Miss is really, really good. Of course, you got to beat Wofford first, and you got to.
Yes.
They're dogs themselves. So you're gonna have a bunch of dogs barking at you. Hey, real quick, I wanted to. I read this last night. Can I ask you about something real quick?
Sure, absolutely.
Have you heard about this softball article in Softball America?
Yeah. I actually had some people send that to me yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I don't want to cut you off. Did you have?
No, I've never seen anything or heard anything like this.
Yeah.
It's somebody writing about motor preference and training and game strategy and the ethics of using color cues. What are they? What is this?
So motor preference we're one of 2 schools in the country that are motor preference certified at a certain level. So us in Oklahoma are level 2 certified with motor preferences, and it's a partnership, that we have with, it's science-based research. It's been out for decades, to be honest with you. I think it's just now making its way into MLB, college sports. It's in college baseball. You just kind of have to go find it because it's not across the board yet. I think it is our future, to be honest. But, we take player development really serious, and we pride ourselves on being some of the best at player development. And, that is what we promised our recruits, is that, hey, come play for us, and you are going to get better every year that you play for us. And that foundation of player development is based off something that we call motor preferences. And we could talk hours for this, but I'll try to kind of give you the Cliff Notes version of it here. We bring in a player, and we basically are able to assess them with certain testing and, just different assessments those tests are going to tell us their natural ability to move and how they like to move in space. Because as you know, like, not every player is the same. And that's why you can't train every hitter the same. And you can't, everyone can't have the same swing, and everyone can't pitch exactly the same. There's different arm slots and different, deliveries and different things like that. So we're able to bring them in, assess them, and get them in what we call preference. So basically it is just your body's natural ability to move, and we train them in their preferences. So that way it's injury prevention, it's figuring out how to keep them safe longer and how to optimize their performance is really kind of the basis of it. And it's out there. You can research it.
Sure.
And within the preferences, right, there are color preferences. So, a hitter or a player, a pitcher, either prefers blue or red. And we won't dive into kind of, I think, the science behind that, but it is science-based methodology and research. And so we put color cues on our Evo shields. And I think this is what the comments were referring to. If you watch this play even past this season, you'll know it's just a part of who we are and how we train and what we give to the opponent. But we have color either red or blue on the Evo shield, and it's just a competitive edge. It's the spirit of competition. I mean, we are by no means trying to be malicious or, psychologically malicious or whatever the comment was, but it's a spirit of competition. It's a competitive edge, if you will. We believe that it gives us, an edge against our opponents. It's meant to disrupt rhythm, right? And so if you really just think about like as a hitter or as an opponent, like that's all you're trying to do is disrupt rhythm in the opposing pitcher or in the opponent. So that's what we're trying to do. And it just works for us and we believe in it. And it's out there. You can research it, and we're motor preference certified, and we're really proud to be in the partnership with them. So that's what all of those comments are referring to.
Yeah, I saw it, and I was like, are they implying that South Carolina is cheating? Like I'm not understanding this, and I know, clearly, but that was a little. I don't know that it was written very well. I'll just put it that way. So
there's no rules against it. We definitely are not cheating. I mean, we definitely go by the book as far as the rules go. But
we know that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, now wait a second. I mean, I saw this and it just kind of caught me off guard. Someone sent it to me and then I went and found it online and I was like, okay, well, you know what? We'll ask Ashley about it and let her explain that so everybody can calm down. That's incredible. I'm actually going to research that because I've never thought about it at all, actually. Very interesting. I'm sure that helps you in recruiting too. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, we think it's awesome that people are paying attention and they care enough to make comments about things we're doing. I think that's awesome and right where we want to be. And I think it's really cool too, just to bring motor preferences to light and, to give attention and get people's attention to go research it and find out more about it. Because again, I think it is our future and in the way that player development on a really high level is going to be handled eventually.
Just you in Oklahoma are certified.
There's level 2 certified. So there's different levels. There's a handful of programs in college softball and college baseball that are level 1 certified. But we did actually level 2 certification this past fall. And Motor Preference is actually going to be in town this weekend for our Ole Miss series. They're coming back into town to watch us play live. Wow. So we're excited to spend more time with them.
The leaders of college softball, the Gamecocks and the Sooners. Incredible. Ashley, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to see you. Congratulations on all the success thus far, and go get them tonight and this weekend. We look forward to getting you back soon.
Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate the time, and just love everyone out there so much.
Yeah. Hey, enjoy your old teammates. I know you'll have a bunch of them in town this weekend. That's going to be so much. That's going to be awesome for you. Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. It's going to be awesome. We've got a big group. We're having a big event Saturday night after the game, and just really excited to kind of see everyone together. We'll get lots of pictures and put them out on social. So
and dances.
Yes, I'm sure we'll dance at some point. Yeah.
Okay, good. Thanks, Ashley.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
There you go. Ashley Chastain Woodard, the head softball coach.